Episode 3407, The Joy of Digital Detox.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day, it's Friday. It's time to start the party. And on top of that, yes, we're celebrating Memorial Weekend. So do you have the grill ready? Do you have the hamburgers prepared? Oh, come on. Before you get, though, too far into all of that, it's the joy of digital detox. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. So what are your plans for this weekend? Hopefully you have the most delicate, decadent, and tantalizing recipe for hamburgers. Maybe you've got the hot dogs out, or maybe you're thinking ribs. I don't know what it is for you to ring in summertime, but let's light up that grill and let's get to cooking. But in order to do that, guess what? You got to step away from your digital technology. I know you want to search for that one recipe, that favorite barbecue one that you haven't written down. What if you actually had written it down? Then you would probably already have it memorized and you wouldn't need your phone. But you see, during the month of May, which we're almost out of it, can you believe? It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And today, of course, we're celebrating and honoring our children. It's Confessions of an Upset Mama. And this mama is a little bit upset. I know, because not only do I have 5 kids, but now I'm seeing my grandchildren being raised in the digital world. And quite frankly, it scares me. My granddaughter, I put a phone in front of her with her own picture, by the way, and she just smiles so big, and then she wants to eat it, which is not good because my speaker will get ruined by her saliva. But we'll leave that for another episode. But seriously, these kids know technology at the moment they are born. Literally, they come into this world with this thing in front of their face. Not their parents, but this screen. Seriously? I know, because I experienced and had the privilege of being in the delivery room with my granddaughter. And what was I doing? I told my daughter, I will film this for you. Now, we did not do like a live thing. We didn't do that. It wasn't that crazy. But did I have the camera? Yes. And so did her dad. Now, I tell you all this because I don't think we understand the ramifications of what we're doing with digital technology when it comes to our children and their mental well-being. And today, I want to talk specifically about cell phones. Why? Because we all have them. The presence of cell phones in the lives of our children has undeniably reshaped their realities, literally reshaped them. If the virtual world continues to take hold of our children's minds, how will they understand reality? So mom, dad, it's time to take a stand and embrace the joy of digital detox. Yes, oh yes, because I'm telling you, I'm letting it all hang out. This mama, I know we couldn't be doing what we're doing right now. You could not hear my voice if it wasn't for digital technology. But guess what? This is not for kids. This is for moms and dads. You have grown up, you've matured, you have had that opportunity to develop, but your child has not. And if you look at your children today, regardless of the ages, if they are 30 years and younger, or even just a little bit older than 30, but if they're 30 years or younger, they've had some form of technology now in front of them the whole time. And it's really kind of scary. Now, when my kids were growing up, we had the old-fashioned leapfrog. Yes, do you remember that? Yeah, great company, by the way. Loved their stuff. VTech is good. And understand both of them are not sponsors of this program. Maybe they should be, so if you know them, if you're listening, VTech or Leapfrog, come on over. We'd love to talk to you. But in all of this, right, what they developed from these companies was interaction. The phones, however, are not doing that. The phones are, let me give you everything you need. And it is rewiring how our brain receives information, how our brain digests it. So rather than engaging with the tangible world around them, our children, right? They are more often immersed in this virtual realm that offers instant gratification and constant stimulation. And you're wondering why we have our medical practices going up with visits of my child just can't sit still. Because they're constantly needing to be stimulated. Because that's how they were raised from the beginning. So at what cost does this connectivity come from, especially when it comes to the mental well-being of our young ones? Are you actually doing them a disservice or a service? Do you think it's good? This is the question. This is not about right or wrong. This is bringing up some hard knock stuff because, as a grandma, and man, do I love my grandbabies, and they are so precious. But I sit here and wonder, what's more important, our FaceTiming each other or us really getting in front of each other where they can touch grandma, where they can hold her hand, where they can pull on my hair or chew on my heart necklace, or sit there and pull the bracelets that have these faceted beads. And right now my granddaughter is all about the sparkle, which is a good thing, but it's a bad thing later on. I'm just saying. It's going to get expensive real fast. But let's talk about what happens to our boys, what happens to our girls. Our girls are often lured by the promise of social connections. Right? They see that, oh my gosh, this is where my relationships are curated and it's maintained through the screens. We don't have time to talk in school, so we make time to talk through the screens. And then we have this FOMO, this fear of missing out, which drives them to stay constantly plugged in. They go to bed with their phone in hand. Seriously? We could talk about a lot of things that are being emitted from a cell phone. And supposedly it's gotten better, but let me tell you, I remember back in the day, and I've done studies on it, and I've watched and I've read, and there's a lot of stuff that comes from that cell phone that you do not want next to the brain when you're going to bed at night, just saying. But our girls, they have this fear that, if I don't have it right here, if the ding doesn't go off and I don't hear it right when it happens, I'm going to miss out. And then I'm going to feel isolated. And when I feel isolated, I'm going to become disconnected. And I can't have that. I got to be all in. Okay, that's our girls. And that's just a little brief look at our girls. What about the boys? Because our boys are frequently enticed by what? Sports and video games. I'm not saying girls aren't doing it too, okay? But just generalities here, okay? Go with me on this for a minute. Sports and video games. But what happens is when they're doing these things, all of a sudden, little advertisements and these enticements of, hoo-hoo, looky here. Look what you can see. You don't have to feel guilty because you're not doing anything. Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, they're exposed to what? Harmful content, whether it's violence, unnecessary violence, okay? I get the kind of blood and gut thing every little bit. I'm not going to say nothing, but get into pornography? Yeah, that's when it starts to come. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, what happened? And now they're addicted, not just because of the sports and the video games, but because what else shows up on their screen. This constant pull towards screens can have a profound effect on your children. And maybe you've noticed that. Maybe you're dealing with that right now. Maybe you're like, oh, gosh, physically, I can see it. Mentally, oh yeah, something's being rewired. Well, let me tell you this, Mom, Dad, there is hope. You can combat this trend and promote a healthier balance, but you have to be proactive as a parent and limit phone usage and encourage activities that stimulate creative imagination, right? You've got to have the create your now attitude. Go out there and encourage free play. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Encourage free play. You see, free play is not just about playing with toys. We hear free play and we think, oh, strawberry shortcake or Cabbage Patch Kids, or maybe it's Paw Patrol, right? I got to get into the nowadays. Back in the day, it was Barney or Veggie Tales, Curious George. But now we're moving into all of this stuff like Blaze and Paw Patrol, and we've got to have all of it. Dora the Explorer. Now, Dora Explorer did come when my kids were little, and actually I do like some of those. However, what happens is if we are just funneling into their idea of we don't have to watch them because they're watching something, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not parenting. Period. End of story. Send me the hate emails. I don't care, but you're not parenting. Now, that's if you're doing it like this all throughout your day, okay? If you're doing it once in a while because you're sitting down, you go out to dinner, and you need to calm your child a little bit, okay, I get that. But if you're using your screen as a pacifier, yeah, think about that for a minute, because that's how most parents are using it. Are you? Now, I can say I didn't have that luxury, if you want to call it so. I don't consider it a luxury, but for some people they would. I didn't have that easy way out. I had to talk to my kids. I had to discipline them. When we went to church, they didn't get the phone in their hand and say, oh, let's turn on VeggieTales. Or let's put little headphones on where they can listen to Focus on the Family or something, okay? Any of this ringing a bell with you? I mean, come on, it's Confessions of an Upset Mama. And let me tell you, I'm letting it all hang out because I am sick and tired of seeing kids not being able to say hello when you say hello back at them first. There's a problem with that, Mom. And if you're sitting here pacifying their lifestyle by giving them a screen, what good are you doing them? And I get the safety. Oh, I hear it all the time. But Christiane, the safety. You know what? My kids did not have a cell phone until they went to high school. And yes, they did have a couple cell phones before that, but they did not have a smartphone. They had a phone that had limited capabilities of texting. And in fact, their first phone did not even have that. They had a flip phone, and if they really wanted to text, which we didn't have texting on their system at that point in time, it was the old Motorola phones, flip phones. You remember those? Yeah, they came in like only 3 colors. And man, when they added red, we were like, oh, a red phone? Come on, let's go back into the day. But seriously, you flip that phone and you sit here and they have 3 letters on one number. That takes a lot of energy to text. So texting really didn't happen. So our kids really did not get their phones until high school. Now, I will say this. When we moved from one state to another state, we did give our daughter, who was in middle school, her first phone. Why? Because she knew no one. That released her anxiety. And so we made that decision. Both my husband and I sat down. We had the conversation. We said this would be good. But did she have a full-on smartphone where she could sit there and pull up, streaming and all of this? Now that's what's happening, my friend. We've got streaming on our phones and we're giving them the passcode so they can just click this. We're giving them the app so they can watch this. Seriously? You can watch your kids and they can be safe and not have to have an actual smartphone. Think about what you are aiding and embedding in their life, in their brain, and in their heart. What are you actually taking away from them? Not what are you giving to them? That might actually change the conversation on how you look at things. Now remember, free play, it's not just about playing with toys. Free play is about being present in the moment, using their motor skills and mental development that's specific to their stage of life. So if you're talking about a high schooler, you better believe they need some free play. What does sports do for those who are doing sports? It teaches them one main component overall is what? How to work together, right? We're better together because they're playing as a team. And even if they're doing something like track and they're running and they're not playing, maybe they're running their own race. Yes, that's true, but they're still part of the team. And the team can go to state, not just that one individual, right? Think about tennis. Same thing with golf, okay? Yes, it's a one-man sport or one-woman sport, but it still plays to the team environment. So you've got to think about how you're encouraging free play. So let's go over some things that we can do here, 3 different ways on how you can encourage free play in real life. Number one effective strategy is to implement designated tech-free time or time zones within your home, okay? If you have dinner, put your dadgum phone away. You too, Mom, put it away. Now, there are instances that I will have my phone at the table, but most of the time, I'm the one telling my husband, put it down, talk to me. You missed me today? Why do you have your phone in hand? Like seriously, I had that conversation with him just yesterday. By setting boundaries around phone usage, we as parents can create a space for uninterrupted free play, allowing children to engage with the physical world and exercise their creativity, which means they exercise conversation. Did you know that's creative? You have to formulate sentences. You wonder why kids can't communicate nowadays? You wonder why everybody else has to, formulate their sentences for them? Or they only talk in code? Because they're lazy. We've given them a lazy way out. It's called cell phones, a smartphone. Everything is at their fingertips, or should it be? That's a question I want you to wrestle with. So implement this designated tech-free time zone. This works great, wonderful when you've got older kids. When your kids come home from college, when they visit you and they have their own family, guess what? It's your house. It's your rules. So if you're sitting down at the table, you have to say, man, you know what, Joe? I love that you came home and you're visiting with your family, but remember mama's and daddy's rules. It still applies. Grandma and grandpa's rules still apply. No phone at the table. It's your house. It's your rules. Number 2, encouraging activities and hobbies that do not involve screens. Now, I'm all about a good movie, but that's still a screen. So find other ways to help your child rewire their behavior. Encourage these activities and hobbies. Get out in nature, right? Allow them to get their hands dirty. What is happening this weekend? It's Memorial Weekend. What if you were to go to a botanical garden and then go to the local gardener in your area and you go and pick out some flowers? And then you go and plant it in a pot. And if you're like, Christiane, I can't do anything. Great, then go buy some faux flowers and plant them for pretend. And then they'll never die. But do something that's out in nature. Get your hands dirty. When you get your hands dirty, your heart becomes cleaner. Take that one to the bank. And then what about sports? When was the last time you ran with your children? Like seriously. I can say just a couple days ago for me, like literally, because I'm chasing my grandchildren and I'm chasing my daughter because my daughter's chasing my grandson who is chasing me, who I'm chasing them. So it's just this whole roundabout. Oh yeah, it's fun. It's exhausting. But get out there and play. Put your phones away so you can seize the day. These pursuits can provide this much needed break from the digital noise and foster this sense of presence. That's what we're missing, Mom. You wonder what our children need? It's not more stuff. It's you. That means you have to be present. Stop getting, bombarded with all these lists of, I got to binge watch my, thing on Netflix or Amazon Prime or wherever you're watching. That's an addiction too, Mom. Dad, what about you? Can you miss the sports? Can you not go out with your guys and your buddies and hang with your kids? Our children need our presence, and we're not giving that to them. Instead, we're saying, here's a screen. Good luck. If I got any grandparents out there, let me tell you this. You better make time to go visit your grandchildren. Because anything over a screen, there's not a connection there. Yeah, you can kind of catch up with them, and that's great when they get a little bit older, but your presence means the world. And if you're not visiting your grandchildren multiple times a year, now I get it if money is an issue. I get that. But you really need to find a way and think about your goals. Do you want that connection? Some people don't, so that's great. Then just hang up now. You don't need to listen to me for the rest of the episode. That's fine. I don't take offense to it. But look at what you want. I know for me as a grandmama, oh yeah, I want to be there. I want to be able to know and love every one of my grandchildren. I want to know what they like. I want to know what they dislike. I want to hear some of their sentences, not because they told me over the phone, but because they ran up to me and said, Grandma, guess what? And then they get to tell me about their school day or what happened with a friend and maybe why they're sad or maybe why dad has made them mad. But guess what? I get to experience them in person. That, my friend, is presence. And then finally, number 3, we also need to lead by example. I cannot stress this enough. And that means you've got to model healthy tech habits yourself. What are your tech habits? Do yours need to be rearranged? Do you need to be rewired? Oh, come on, look in the mirror first before you go and start pointing fingers at me. I know. I have to be careful too. When I travel a lot, my computer is literally right in the main zone of everything. Why? Because I don't have an office. And so as I'm traveling, if I have people with me, I have to make sure to step away, to turn it off. I conduct my schedule accordingly. I do my best that I can. So am I doing my best to lead by example? You better believe it. My grandson knows that I will get down and play trains with him. Even though my computer is right there, he knows that if he just asks Grandma, will you play with me? What do you think my answer is? Yes. Now, every once in a while, I have to say, hold on, let me finish this statement or this sentence. I've got to finish this email. He understands that. And then I say, I'm right there. And what do? I don't do anything else unless I really have to go to the bathroom. Okay, we'll leave that for another episode. But seriously, it's right to the trains because that's what he loves to do. What are you doing to demonstrate the value of face-to-face interactions, that genuine human connection? Because when you get that in your own mind, you can then instill it in your children. And they then experience a deeper appreciation for the real world beyond the screen. But if their world is only about a screen, they're living in the virtual realm, which means they're really not living the real life. And I'm not saying that we can't use technology. Yes, we can. But if it's only about technology, that's when I say, let's take it to the challenge. Let's really see how we can do things differently. Author Jonathan Haidt emphasizes in his book, The Anxious Generation, how the great rewiring of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental illness. It's the rise of smartphone use among children. And he has in there the studies and the research that show how the increased rates of anxiety and depression are skyrocketing amongst our youth. It's crazy. But you can make some shifts to save your child from the age of digital rewiring. Their mind can continue to grow, but you have to understand, it's time to unplug and reconnect with what truly matters, each other. Your presence matters. And when you prioritize mental well-being over digital distractions, you can help your child thrive in a balanced and grounded way. So my question to you is, what foundation are you building? Is it all about technology? I mean, I love it because we're here right now, right? You get to listen to me. You get to come over to createyournow.com. You get to spread the word and you get to say, this crazy lady, you got to listen to her. Thank you so much for spreading the word. You get to listen to our TV shows. You get to eventually come into AIM, which I'm so excited. We're revamping the website. Exciting things are happening. And guess what? In the midst of all of this, what have I told you that I'm doing? And this just tells you how serious I believe we need to take things off of social media and get away from that. As I'm actually trying to establish something on our website that we never have to connect on social media. Meaning our conversations will be private and you'll be protected. That's how much it means to me. That's where my priority is for you. So what is that priority for you when it comes to your children? Are you prioritizing their mental well-being over digital distractions? Only you can answer that. And this again is not this push of, oh, you better do it this way. Every family is different. Every child is different. So it may be different for one child versus another child. But you've got to figure out what works for your family and don't wait until it's too late. Remember, the virtual world may offer instant gratification and it's fun. Oh, it's delightful, isn't it? Very colorful. But it is in the real connections and experiences that nurture the mind, body, and spirit for a lifetime. So let's guide our children back to the beauty of living in the moment, of being present and embracing the joy of free play. I pray you have a blessed Memorial Weekend. Hey, get that grill out. Aren't you getting a little hungry? I know I am. All right, we'll see you on the other side. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a beautiful Memorial Weekend. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.